Hey everybody, welcome back. Devin, the OG original Grognard, trying something a little bit new and different this time, and I honestly have no idea if this is going to work or not. We're trying to do this as a live stream, so I've been meaning to try to start doing live streams through my phone for a while now. I'm just not sure if it's gonna work real well, and so I've actually got Kindle right here. So let me try to see if it's working. If we're actually streaming. I do not see anything that we are streaming. Oh, there we go. That looks like that's it. Should probably turn the volume down. Okay, there's the volume. The only problem is now, how do I see chat if it comes up? Can I even do that on this device? I have no idea. Because the purpose of me using this device was to see if the chat was going on. See if anybody was talking or chatting or anything like that. Let's see. Nope. Let's cancel that. Yes, bunch of buttons I'm pushing. Just trying to get things figured out. All right, it doesn't look like I'm going to be able to see the chat. Oh, hey, you know what? There is little things that pop up on my phone. Hey, Al, how you doing? All right, so at least I can kind of get an idea that there is chat going on, and I hope the video is coming through clear. I hope the audio is coming through clear, because, like I said, this is the first time I'm doing this live stream, and I kind of wanted to do it as kind of a test and do it as a channel update to kind of show what's going to be coming up soon. Hopefully, maybe, I don't know. We'll see what happens. We know how I tend to be with things. So yeah, finished off Open Fire. It was an okay game system. Not really. I explained my issues with Open Fire in the last little bit of the last video I did. That just really, it didn't have the tension and the surprise and the nail biting theme, attitude, feeling like the original Ambush had. Combat system, I enjoyed the combat system. I enjoyed how the combat system worked. I just didn't like everything else. Okay. Thank you, Al. Thank you for letting me know. Everybody, check out Al, a Red Sox fan. Good friend of the channel, and my companion, cohort, brother in chatting arms on some Saturday nights. And last Wednesday night, we went over Operation Market Garden. So go over to his channel and check that out. That'll be really cool. So anyways, what we're looking at. Yes, I've got some games on the table. What are we looking at first off? Sword of the Stars. It's kind of what I kind of wanted to do next. 1981 SPI. I don't know if this is one of their Ares games. It might have been. Then again, it might not have been because it was 400 playing pieces, and Ares games. Their magazine games usually only had one sheet of counters. And I was asking if can I mod the game? Oh, well, I can convert it into a miniature system probably, but that probably takes more effort than I'm willing to put into it. So anyway, Sword of the Stars. You know what? Let me push a couple buttons here on the screen and see what else. There we go. I can see. Okay, top chat, live chat. Okay, let's go with live chat. Thank you, David and Paderic, for showing up and watching with me. Appreciate that. Yeah, Sword of the Stars. However, if you kind of notice, don't even get here. Sword of the Stars is a 1 to 6, 5 or 6 player game, and it's actually a pretty cool space 4X game. Go ahead and take a quick look at the map. Not a very big map. I mean, it's not even 20 by 32, but you've got all the different systems, and each system has got all these numbers and pictures, and there's a lot of detail going on. with each one of them. Plus, each system has this little 4-digit code that kind of goes along with the ideology code guide. So, you know, the first number is general ideology, second specifics, and that all comes into play during the game. You probably noticed that it has a real similar look and feel to Avalon Hill's Freedom in the Galaxy, and I think that was designed on purpose that way. And this is a pretty good 4X system. Doesn't use a lot of counters. I mean, take a look. That's pretty much all the counters that you need for just one race. You know, maybe 40, 50 counters. So not a lot of counters for each race. And it uses a pretty cool card system. At the beginning of each turn, each person gets dealt out 5 of these cards, and these cards are actually used to resolve all combat. You don't really use dice for the combat. You use those resolution cards. And so it's designed as a 4X game, kind of even before 4X games were really a thing. So that's the cool thing about it. The bad thing about it is it's a 4X game. And so you can't really, it's not really solitaire suitable. Do want to give this a try at some point. Don't know if it's going to be on the channel for the video. Yeah, again, since it's a 4X game, there's a lot of diplomacy that goes on, and yes, I can kind of metagame it and do the diplomacy on my own, but I don't think it'd be that interesting to play solitaire. There is one solitaire scenario in there, but it's like 2 turns long, and it's like, why even bother? So that's sort of the stars. We may see that at some point. And continuing on the space theme, Dark Stars from Simulations Canada. I don't know if I'm going to get to this one. This one evidently is a really good solitaire game, and yeah, my copy is beat all to hell and back. I got it from a buddy of mine who was downsizing, and he was a bit of a hoarder. And you see all these, yeah, most of this, those are rats chewing on it. So I don't even want to get into it. Simulations Canada did a really good series of games back in the late 70s, early 80s. A lot of them are highly thought of. This one is kind of a really hard sci-fi exploration game, and this can be played solitaire. And it's got a pretty big map. But again, it's kind of a 4X game. You go out, you got to research, you got to explore these different places, see if they've got what's in them. So there's a lot of dice rolling randomness to see if there's habitable planets in there. And then you've got, even when you go into a system, then you've got an interstellar map hex where you place the planets, and sometimes you get into combat. So yeah, I mean the game's tag name is Exploration and Conflict in Space. So, and it's mostly unfinished. I think my buddy tried to play it once, but didn't do to, or didn't, I don't know. It probably looked like he played it once, but you know, you got some of the planets here, you know, the different stations, and but yeah, it's a 4X game. This one is, like I said, it's hard science, but I think it's a lot easier than Sword of the Stars because let's see how many. Oh, the rulebook doesn't even have page numbers in it. Oh, God. We can either say something bad about Canadians and not putting page numbers in their books, or say something about the 70s and early 80s in the gaming industry. But very, very short rule book. As someone once explained it to me, it's kind of like Campaign for North Africa that can be played solitaire and at your own pace. So, of course, seeing the rule book, I don't know how it could be like Campaign for North Africa, but that's something we may look at in the future. I don't know. This is the only Simulations Canada game I own. I would like to give it a shot at some point. Continuing the space theme, Star Explorer. Oh my God, can you get in more Star Trek type cover than this? Fantasy Games Unlimited. This is an unpunched copy. See that? Pretty counters. Not very many games survive like this. too much. Let's see if I can. Oh, I can actually scroll through the channels or through what people are saying. So thank you for keeping an eye on things for me in there, Al. This is kind of a 4X game as well, but it's more kind of a solitaire system, or actually it can be really good solitaire. But yeah, this is basically you're running a starship just like, I mean, just like the Enterprise. I mean, take a look at the enemy ships right there. I mean, they look like Klingon ships. I mean, come on. And then here's the fleet service, but yeah, it almost looks like friggin' Enterprise. So yeah, seriously ripped off from Star Trek. But this one is more you're controlling an individual ship. And so again, not a very big map. Again, not even a 22 by 30 or 21 by 32. But here's your combat grid over here if you get into combat, and then space combat display, and randomly for the planetary encounter types, and the mission charts and space exploration table. But kind of the heart and soul of it is right here. This is kind of your planetary log sheet, but there's also where is it? Yeah, right here. Here's your crew ship. This is basically the ship, and you have so many crew members, and you have to allocate your crew members to the different positions: navigation, fire control, damage control, geology, fuel, botany, animal, sentient, medical, military. And when you go on these missions, you have to have so many. Like a mission may require you to have 3 geology, 2 botany, 1 sentient. So you need to make sure your crew is spec'd out that way. Then you get a captain's bonus. But yeah, it's generically, a lot of it is just done through the log. You just keep track on the log of the planet you come across, and then you only go to the map when you're doing combat. But there's 4 different colors, so 4 people can play it at the same time. Although, again, real easy to do solitaire. Rule book's not too bad for this one. 16 pages with charts, and lots of tables because you gotta kind of roll what kind of table you come across. Grassland, and then what type of event you come across, and then figure out what the event is and make sure you have the right people mix for it, and then roll dice to see if you succeed the skill tests. Again, something that could be done solitaire. Definitely want to take a look at. But yeah, like I said, I mean, that even looks like a Federation uniform, and I mean they're trying to make them look like Kirk, but yeah, this was, oh geez, early 80s. I want to say 81 as well. So yeah, I mean, serious Star Trek ripoff. Silverton. I like train games. I've always liked train games. Not so much the Avalon Hill train games, which is kind of at odds with who and what I kind of am, because I love Avalon Hill games. But in general, I enjoy rail games. I could say train games, although people will get confused. David Train, the developer who does work for Hollandspiel and other companies, but no, I just like train games. So here it is. It's your standard multiplayer train game in the Colorado area. Now, the thing that really I missed is because I used to live in Colorado. So I grew up in Colorado, and in grade school in Colorado, it was always about the silver. We always got information, and we were always taught about the silver rush and Molly Brown and everything to do with the silver trade in Denver in the late 1800s. So, you got Denver, Georgetown, Fairplay, Leadville, been to Leadville several times, and, all the different Silverton. Yeah, I know that. So you got all these different. Now, this one really isn't laying tracks, and I actually really do like the games where you lay tracks, but this is more running just the train lines and, buying and selling gold, silver, lumber, and coal, transporting them to the destinations and sell them on off. I kind of get into that because, I enjoy the mercantile aspect of it. I also really like, where you build the train tracks. And Mayfair Games was the one they did their rails across everything. They probably have got 20 or 30 rail games where you build the tracks and everything. So, it's definitely an older game. You can just tell by the font. I mean, this is straight up typed font. So I mean, there wasn't no work, no heavy duty graphics invested into this. Hey, Ron, welcome. Ron from Retro Sports Network. Go check him out for great sports action. Him and Ron, I gotta say, or him and Al, I gotta say, are probably two of the best computer dice and cards sports players that I know of, and both of them do the announcements just like you're watching an actual game. And I'll just turn it on and leave it running in the background. I mean, I don't even have to have them, the screen up. I just leave it on. It's like listening to a baseball or football game. And Ron actually used to do sports writing. I'm sure if you go over to his channel, he's got some stuff that he's talked about on that. And Ron is also currently working on playing through Civilization 6. And he and I need to sit down because I want to sit down with him and play some multiplayer offline. And Al, what's Al working on? Al is working on today and yesterday, working on, I think it's his Sweet 16, one and done. It's out of the park ball. But he's taken all the great Yankees teams and running them, I think he's taking the 99. Al, you're going to have to correct me on this because I'm not good at baseball. But he's doing a huge series of Yankees baseball games, replaying it through. And it's very quite enjoyable. I enjoy listening to him. Okay, the other one that I'm kind of looking at, Victory in Europe. I don't even have a box for that. I don't even have a bag for this. I got this. This is from Omega Games. And Omega kind of was a small game company in the early to mid 80s. I think the one big game that people will know that they did was Recon, and that was the one where you take a group of or maybe it was called Ranger. I think it was called Recon. A squad of Rangers, and you actually plot out on the map this with a dry erase marker your path that you're going, and then random events that happen. So it was kind of actually a pretty fun game. This one wasn't one of their more popular ones, but basically it's Victory in Europe, 1944, 1945, and I got this when I was part of the military book club. This was one of the options that came up when I was, 1988, 89, no, I think it was 1990. So yeah, I haven't played this in close to 30 years. Map is not the greatest. This is not a lot of funding for the graphics in this, but it's serviceable, it's playable. It's the fall of Germany, 1944, 1945. It can be up to a 3-player game. You got the Western Allies, U.S. and Brits. You've got the Soviets, and then you've got the Germans. The cool thing about this is not only is it just the normal fall of Berlin or fall of Nazi Germany, it's got a couple scenarios in here. One of the scenarios, Patton's Fantasy, where it assumes that Germans surrendered, and then the U.S. and the Soviets get into a shooting war with each other. So that's kind of cool. Then there's an option: what would have happened had the Germans won the Bulge, and that would have had an effect in later 44 and 45. And then of course it's got the the full campaign game. And it's real nice because it's got the markers and then whatever hex they're laid into, and it's not a tough game. I mean, 16 pages of rules, and it's not small font, not big font, medium font. There's naval assaults and air power and good stuff like that. So it probably, for as many games, and since I haven't played it since the 1990s, still probably one of the better late war operational there's the new word for the day, operation level games that cover the later stages of the war. People tend to try to make them too big, they make them too small. For some reason that fits right into that sweet spot. Now, what else have I got that I didn't bother to pull down? Well, let's take the camera up here. We've got SOPAC and Eastern Fleet and Coral Sea. That's part of the Avalanche Press's uh, naval battles of world, great naval battles of World War II or World War II at sea. Not a real solo friendly. I mean, it's a great system because it merges the operational fleet movement view with, all right, the ships get into contact, break out the tactical map, go to ship combat. So for the campaigns, it's not real good because you basically write your orders up at the beginning of the game, hex by hex movement on the campaign map, and then there is a little bit of wiggle room that you have in there once you get into contact, and especially with combat fleets, you can start Uzi Patrol. What's up, brother? Uh, so, oh, totally lost my. Thanks, Uzi. Made me lose my train of thought. A little bit of wiggle room with your battle fleets, but as far as transport fleets, and they're pretty much stuck to the way you're going. So, can be played solitaire on the tactical level, which you're just doing, historical battles. But for doing campaigns, not real good. And then I've got a bunch of games from strategy or tactics and strategy, which is my buddy over in Poland, Wojciech Zalescu, his production company. I did Berlin 1945 long time ago. Borodino 1812, not too interested in doing that. Great Battles of the 21st Century. I have problems with that rule set. Poland 1939 I'd like to do, but I don't have the table space for it. Let's see what else we got. Command and Colors Ancients, I've already done those. Command and Color Napoleonics. I may... Yeah, Death by Layover. Where you at, Uzi? Where are you laying over at? You aren't on Facebook anymore, so I can't keep track of you that way. I may break out and do World at War, which is Mark Walker's Lock and Load's Third World War platoon scale. With them, they're re-releasing the entire system, so I may break down and break the original out just kind of for old time's sake. Houston, not bad. Could be worse places to lay, or at least you ain't got snowstorms. And I've got Death of the First Panzer, so I may pull out that module and play it. I've got the Hunters, I've done that. Thunderbolt Apache, I've done that. Britain Stands Alone, I've talked about wanting to do that. That again, that requires more table space than I have. RAF, I might do RAF. That's a classic. West End Games. They just recently got re-released. Who did that? Somebody re-released it. I can't remember. But anyways, SS America, Tomorrow of the World, two massive post-World War II. Well, SS America is the German invasion of North America, and Tomorrow of the World is a grand operational what happened had Germany and Japan won the war. Worldwide War Games. They're Miranda designs. I think Ty Bomba had a hand in them as well. So you got to, that right there should tell you everything you need to know about that. Oh, plus I've got a bunch of other stuff. I've got a bunch of stuff. I just don't know what to do. And then, of course, you can't see it, but, this bookcase right here, I've got two more shelves that are underneath the table, and they're all loaded up with games as well. So let's get what I'm looking at. I'm not really sure what I'm going to break into next. Input would be good. What would y'all like to see me play? I mean, you've kind of seen part of my library, so you kind of know what I've got. I'm kind of leaning more towards Victory in Europe, maybe Star Explorer. We'll just have to see how things pan out. I am still doing my playthrough of Operation Sea Lion. And I really need to do something with that, either play it offline or continue streaming it. Rail games are good, Ron. Because after I get done with Operation Sea Lion, then I have Fulda Gap 85 that I want to do, and I also have Korea 85 that I want to do. I think for Fulda Gap, I'll play as the Soviets that time. Soviets trying to break through Fulda Gap, and it's a John Tiller game. It's his modern campaign series, so it's the same scale that Operation Sea Lion is. And Korean, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I want to play the North Koreans or the South Korean and American forces in Korea 85. So we'll have to see what comes about with that. And then of course I've got Order of Battle, World War II. I'm still going through Panzerkrieg, and I know they just came out with Endkrieg, which is the final part of that DLC trilogy, as it were. And then, of course, there's always stuff I can do on the computer on Vassal. Maybe I'll go back to doing some Panzer Leader 1940 on Sun Tzu or something. But I wanted to get. I'll show this real quick. And I feel bad because I told Tom I was going to get a video out for it, but I never did. Lacquered Coffins, World War II air combat rules. It's a good light. I mean, it's kind of, I say light, and it's kind of a misleading because it's so many pages, but they're only printed one side. I got the PDF and didn't want to do it two-sided, didn't want to do it in color. It's good air-to-air combat. World War II. I suck at air games. I suck at air-to-air warfare. I set it up. I tried pushing the counters around. It just didn't work for me. It just didn't click for me. And like I said, I kind of feel bad because I told Tom I was going to get a video out for it, and I never did. So I need to make my mea culpas and apologies to him on that. Yeah, but Tom Jensen, yeah, he's got a lot of really cool miniature systems that you need to that you should go look at it. There, he's on War Games Vault. I think his publication company is Ostfront. He's got a really cool modern day or mid '80s Soviet versus Afghan miniature system called Hindenseek, and I just think that's one of the greatest titles of all time. And he just came out with a World War II well, it's not really, well, yeah, it is a naval system. You basically can build your own ships and then fight them out in miniature. That was just released, so that's a really cool system if you're into miniatures. And let's see. Fred, welcome, Fred. Just listening while setting up your print and play NATO Air Commander. Oh, I need to get my hands on that. That's from Hollandspiel. And as most of you know, I don't get a lot of new games. As you can see from my library, I don't have a lot of new games. But that one, it's a solitaire system, and it's only $40. Maybe for Christmas, I'll splurge and get it for me for Christmas. But that's a solo NATO air commander, you're running the NATO air forces, trying to assist in stemming the Soviet tide. And anything that's Third World War, I always really grok on. Oh, a little bit of bad news that kind of came down the pipeline. I don't know if people heard about this. Everybody knows, well, most people should know, Frank Chadwick's Battle for Germany, his Third World War series that he did for GDW back in 83, 84. Compass Games had picked him up to do it again, to do a re-release, and they were working on it. However, word just came down that the guy that they were doing the map artwork, they sent him a letter saying his services are no longer required. Don't know what's going on with that. Don't know if they're going to move to someone new or if something has happened between Compass Games and Frank that we're not going to see the remake of Frank Chadwick's Third World War, which is really, really depressing because that is a game I should probably break out. I played it 3 or 4 years ago. I made a Sun Tzu module for. There's a Vassal module out there for it, but I don't like the color schemes they used. So I may, you know what? Let's just. Can I do this? Let's see. So instead of you, yeah, there we go. All right, so we can see me. Yeah, I know. I shaved my head again. I have thin hair. It's really hard for me to hold any type of hairstyle. So I played that. I crafted a module for that on Sun Tzu probably 3-4 years ago, and I played that out and I did an after action report for it. But that's one I could break out again and do a live or record a playthrough of that because that was a fun game. I enjoyed that game. That was probably one of the funnest games. It definitely ranks in my top 10. That series definitely ranks in the top 10, my favorite war games of all time. Let's see. What other news out there? Oh, yeah. Probably most of you already know Dan Penn. Oh, I'm not even going to try to pronounce his last name. Il Duce. Dan over at No Enemies Here. Go check him out. The premier source for wargaming news and information. He's actually turned me on to probably half a dozen YouTube streams and other YouTube. hate I hate to say entertainers. We're not entertainers. Well, we can be entertaining, but I wouldn't call us performers. Al likes to call us content creators. Personalities is the word I prefer to use. I prefer the term personalities. But yeah, go check out No Enemies Here. I found a lot of great Blast Pop was one of them that I found. There's Mo from Mo's Gaming Table. A lot of really good wargaming YouTubers and streams that have got really Centurion's Review is another one that just haven't got a lot of subscribers. Under a couple hundred subscribers. Go over, hit the subscribe button, give them some love. I mean, honestly, kind of the way I look at it, people may say that there's a lot of war games out there, and there's a lot of people doing videos on the new stuff. There just isn't a lot of us doing stuff on the older games. And as I was going through and when I was doing Upfront, there were no videos out there. I think the videos I posted are the only videos in existence for Upfront. And that game's only been around since 1988. So we're losing our history as we're getting older and we're dying off. We're losing our wargaming history. So go out and subscribe these guys that are doing some of the older gameplay. Well, any gameplay, any war gamers, give them some love because we're a small enough community as it is. We kind of need to be supporting each other. We do. We really do. So, yeah, that's that. I think that's pretty much it. I think that's all the channel update I wanted to do. Anything else I got to say? Check to see anybody saying anything in chat. No, not really. So yeah, that's what we got. That actually went a hell of a lot longer, 31 minutes. So I'm going to go back, check this in post-production, see how the audio came out, see how the video came out. We may see me doing more of this instead of when I'm playing the game and recording it. I may just stream it because it saves a hell of a lot of time. It really does. I don't have to download it from my phone. I don't have to put it through the processor. I can just it's straight to YouTube. So, and I definitely, I know I keep saying this, my football game, again, like I said in the last video, it's just coming down to me streamlining and finding a quicker way to play. But I do want to get back to that. And Al's been trying to get me to get Dave Koch's football game. But I've been looking at it on computer, and I was like, that's nice, but I kind of want the golf game instead because I kind of like golf. DCB, greetings from Ireland. Well, welcome. You kind of caught us on the tail end here. But yeah, that's kind of what I got. So I'll mull it over in my head for a few days what the next game I want to get to the table is, and maybe in the meantime I can start doing some more stuff with Operation Sea Lion and Battlefront, or not Battlefront, Battleground, Order of Battle. Geez, I don't know why I want to call it something different. Have I got anything else? I think that's it. You know what's coming. Questions, comments, concerns, complaints, criticisms in the comment section. And I will see everybody next time. See ya. Now let's see if I can turn this off without totally messing it up. Will we push that button? Yes.